Hey, welcome to Local Legacy. I'm your host, Nick Smith, where I sit down one-on-one, interview cool people with cool jobs and some amazing stories. Hey guys, so welcome back to Local Legacy. Today I have my good friend Jessica Busman here. She is with Surrogacy Partnership, an amazing company that her and her husband Chris own and run together. Tell us just a little bit about kind of overall how you guys started and what you do.
So we are a surrogacy agency that guides and supports surrogates and intended parents through the process of matching all the way till baby's born. And we started by me being a 2-time surrogate myself. And the second family I helped was an IVF doctor who planted the seed in my brain and said she'd love to refer patients to us if we started our own agency. So that's what we did in 2017.
That's incredible. So from the experience, the person you're actually helping said, hey, you're so good at helping me.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to help others.
Yeah. And my background was, I had a corporate background and like multi-unit and putting out fires and being quick to respond to things. And so she just thought I'd be a good fit for that. And so we started off, trust is really important in this field. And so having a doctor refer patients directly to an agency is what really kicked us off. And so we're pretty much referral based. Lawyers, doctors, they refer patients to us and then we go from there.
That is fantastic. So let's start a little bit about kind of your own journey when you were a surrogate. Take us through that process. Obviously, you already had a family, what that looks like and kind of how the whole family comes together during that time. So
I was one of those people that did not research for many years, thinking this is something I want to do. How do I go about doing it? Like most things in my life, it popped into my head one day. I said, that sounds like a really amazing thing to be able to do to help others. I've had my 2 kids. It's all I wanted, but I was still young enough that I could still get pregnant and I was healthy. So I said, let's just do this. My husband was along for the ride, the crazy ride. And so that's what we did. It impacts the family as much as you want it to. In a positive way, I think, is how it benefits, especially children. I think when a surrogate does this and she gets her family involved, she gets to explain what the ultimate gift is of like helping others. Like literally you're putting your body through this. So, and a lot of surrogates do it more than once because they enjoy the first experience and they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how amazing that was. Sign me up again. And so many come back over and over again. There is a cap.
It's not unlimited.
We can't do this forever. As an agency and clinics should be doing this too, we follow what's called ASRM guidelines. Okay. And that helps us know what an ideal candidate looks like. So that there is a huge amount of people that want to be surrogates. Mm-hmm. Very little will qualify. And the biggest disqualifier is BMI. So, which did not help coming out of COVID either. We all kind of emotionally ate. Yes. But that's kind of the biggest disqualifier. We're just trying to mitigate risk.
Yes, for sure. So then through your experience, that led to now having your own business, your own company. And people come, they reach out directly to you in order to help them through that journey. How does that work?
Yes. So we don't typically get people randomly finding us on the internet. Sometimes we do, but usually it's a referral from their doctor that they're already working with, their IVF clinic, a lawyer that they've picked out for the surrogacy process. Or a friend who's gone through it themselves and then said, who did you go through as an agency? So those are the ones that we tend to work with the most.
Okay. And then how does Chris, your husband, kind of fit into all of this realm? Obviously, you're the one out here talking and Carrie.
I'm the face, he says.
Yeah.
Face. He's the behind the scenes. We joke all the time. He is the important yet boring side of the business, and that's the financial. So we work together really well in that sense because although I don't like it, surrogacy has that huge financial component, which I know not everybody can afford. So I get to focus on the people aspect, finding the right surrogates, fully screening them, matching everyone together and guiding them and supporting throughout the process. But Chris handles the financial side. So making sure that escrow's set up, the funds are there, the surrogate gets her disbursements when she's due them, and he handles all of that kind of behind the scenes. So
Okay, perfect. One question that just kind of popped into my head, because that's how this is going to go. They're going to come as they come. How do you match them with a family and a surrogate? How does that process work?
yes, so you could say it would be as simple as ticking boxes. The intended parent is looking for all these different qualities in an ideal surrogate, and I do the same thing for the surrogate side of what she's looking for throughout a process. And their boxes match, they must be a good match. But I try to take it one step further and have those components there, but also factor in personalities, interests outside of, what a pregnancy would be, common interests. And so Chris jokes that I'm a fertility matchmaker, because I'm really good at it. Yeah. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but out of all the match Zoom calls that we've had, they've 100% made a match. So I'm still batting 1,000. And I think it's because of the process we have in place, making sure that she's fully screened,
right,
which means receiving all of her pregnancy delivery records, making sure she's good on paper, getting clinic approval, the intended parent's clinic's approval on those records, background checks on anyone 18 and over in their home, and making sure they pass psychological evaluation, because surrogacy is not for everybody. Not everybody can handle what it means. If they're partnered or married, they're also a part of that evaluation as well. So all of that happens prior to that match meeting, which I facilitate, and everyone thinks it's like a blind date. Like,
that's exactly what my thought was.
Are they gonna like me? I hope they like me. And I already know, because I've known them,
right,
that they're gonna work out really well. So my job is to get everybody on the call, make them feel at ease, make it fun, and have everybody open up, ask questions outside of what was on their profiles they want to get to know them about more. And so it's always worked out. It's always been a match.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not even like another attempt or, you know what, here's the top 3. You're like, listen, you, let's get together, and I have a good feeling it's going to work out. That's very, very impressive. That's very...
I am impressed by myself in that one sense, because I really do go into these going, I've done this. This is going to be fine, guys. Trust me. And then you get to go through that whole journey. With them.
And then...
I love it.
Yes. Go take us kind of through what that journey's like from both sides.
Well, after matching, the surrogate has to go through what's called medical screening at the intended parent's IVF clinic. That's where she's seen in person. They're going to take a look at her uterus. They're going to do tons of lab work on her. If she's partnered or married, they also get lab work done. And then after she passes that portion, she's what's called medically cleared. We move on to legal. Legal can take time. It's usually about 2 to 4 weeks, though, if everybody's doing their part.
Right.
And then once that's completed, then that's legal clearance. That goes back to the clinic. They can create a calendar and order medications. Every clinic's a little bit different. Some have what's called a mock cycle, which adds more to your timeline. It's like a dry run of getting to a transfer. Some go straight into a transfer cycle, which means they're going to give her medications, thicken her uterine lining, check that it's there, and then she'll start what's called progesterone, which is a very important pregnancy hormone. That tells her body, hey, we're pregnant, but we're not yet. But everything's being done artificially, so they need to make sure that the body acknowledges and doesn't reject the transfer that's going to happen a week later. We get to transfer. We hope that it sticks. What I love telling surrogates, because nobody likes being pregnant until at the end.
Right.
You're just like, oh my God, I'm so big and I'm not sleeping, whatever. With a surrogacy, you're only pregnant 8 months because all the stuff's done in the lab. So when you get to transfer, that's 2 weeks along. By the time you get to the blood work that confirms pregnancy, you're already a month in. So I'm always like, this is going to be so much easier.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then she basically is monitored through the intended parent's IVF clinic until about the 10th to 12th week of pregnancy. And then she graduates from the care and starts seeing her own OB for the duration of the pregnancy, like any other pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Till baby's born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now is the intended parent, are they at those appointments?
So a lot of times, more often than not, there's distance, whether it's they're international or they don't live in the same state, or maybe they're like SoCal, NorCal.
Okay.
Or they just have a busy schedule and they live local, but they can't get to appointments.
Okay.
This is where technology comes in, and it's really amazing. You can FaceTime in, you can just call in, you can WhatsApp in, and I always encourage that so they can build that relationship with the surrogate's OB, taking videos, just it's all available now. So
the intended parents get to go on the entire journey.
yeah,
If they choose to. Kind of.
they can be as involved as they want to be. Local, international, like there's so many ways.
So now let's fast forward a little bit, kind of post baby round, as the one kind of overseeing this thing and kind of making it all happen for everybody. How does it work, and what does it look like kind of at the end with the surrogate and, you know, the intended family, and now we have a baby? Like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of emotion going on.
How's the transition?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
How do we transition?
So what helps, and what I think sets our agency a little differently, is that I'm really involved. So I've been at a lot of our births,
Okay.
which is not necessary, but it helps in this process because I've gotten to know everybody so well throughout that they want me to be there, and then I can help transition everybody. So there is a lot of unknown. Like when you push a baby out, there are natural hormones that occur, and then you have these reactions that, you know, a surrogate will call me I'm always checking up with her too once I do leave, and I'm like, you know, I give her a heads up that this is probably what's going to happen. She's going to have all these feelings that she's not even knowing where these are coming from, because she's super happy for what she did, proud of what she did.
Accomplished.
But she's like, but I can't stop crying. And I'm like, that is normal. That's okay. Accept those feelings and just talk to me. If it ever went a step further, we have, you know, people that they can contact and have like professional help. We haven't needed that, but they know that that's always available. I think what's super important is before the family leaves with the baby from the hospital, they say a goodbye.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't actually mean a goodbye forever. It just means, you know, we're letting you finish resting here and we're moving on to, you know, maybe we're traveling or going home. Some, if they're international, the surrogates get a little bit more time because parents are having to wait for the birth certificate to arrive, a passport to arrive, so they have to stay local for like at least a month, if not more. And in that time, they usually bond even further. It's quite normal for a relationship to still flourish after baby's born, and they're staying in contact, the surrogate's getting updates. We've had people be so close throughout the process that they visit each other, like they take vacations together. That's not the norm, but that's what it can be. It's like any relationship in life. It's going to be what you make of it. And that's why it's so important in my matching process that I find things that they have in common or that they can talk about. Because if it's just all about the baby, then sometimes it does end when it ends.
Right.
And so I'm there to just kind of transition at the end and have everybody contact us and let us know what they need, and so that it's just a nice, easy, smooth transition.
Mm-hmm. And then how long after the fact do you stay in contact with the intended parent, say?
It depends.
Yeah.
Technically, we stay in contact for sure 6 months post delivery because of escrow. Escrow needs to be remained open for that long because medical billing can be really lengthy. And we have to make sure that everything goes through there. But we've had people, like our first year of inception, they still send us like pictures of the baby. I've been to a client's wedding, and then the next week they happen to have their baby, and I was there for that. And I go to birthday parties and gender reveals, and it's amazing.
It's more than just a business.
Yes, it's a very personal experience, and so that's how we treat it.
And it takes some special people to be able to pull all of that off.
Yeah.
And maintain those.
I'm like, everybody likes each other. It's great.
Yeah.
Winning.
That's fantastic. And so it's like almost like you have a new aunt in the family after it's over, and
Yeah.
you know, that's super, super incredible. So let's touch a little bit about the business side. Okay, the financial side. What is this going to cost me if I need to?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Nowadays, post-COVID, because prices didn't increase for certain like grocery items. It went up for everything.
Everything.
We tell people all in, they need to be able to be comfortable with about $120,000 to $150,000. That means all in lawyers, clinic costs, medications, surrogate fees, agency fees. And that's really the reason there's kind of a buffer is like complicated versus uncomplicated. That's why insurance plays a big role in this and making sure that she has good coverage. So like the what ifs, you don't have to worry necessarily in the bank department for that. So when we have intended parents who have to buy a policy for the surrogate through open enrollment, which I help facilitate, not personally, we have experts in that field, but I help bring everybody together. Oh no. And I get it in place. A lot of them go with a platinum plan just so that they're covered because they're already spending so much money. We want to make sure that that's one less thing they have to worry about. So it's not cheap.
No.
And so sadly, it's not for everyone, but there's also programs out there to help people and grants, and depending on if like Men Having Babies does a lot of grants for same-sex couples. And then there's financial establishments that will help give loans that are specific for surrogacy or IVF. And then there's also great businesses, like people are switching jobs to get IVF benefits. Like Google's one, Facebook's one.
Oh, wow.
We know Starbucks even does it for part-time employees nowadays. So sometimes people are switching careers just so that they can afford, this need and have it subsidized by their employer.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Money, financials shouldn't come in the way of it. Unfortunately,
it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But it sounds like there's a lot of avenues and ways to help to cover those costs. That's it's so mind blowing to me, that whole process. It continues to blow me away. So it's good to know, though, if it's something that you want to do and you're not able to do yourself, there's definitely avenues to explore.
Yeah.
Don't just throw in the towel.
No, plan ahead, knowing that certain things might take time. Because we do have people too that money's no object for them, and that doesn't concern them, and we have others that every penny counts, and so we treat everybody like that. That even when I'm looking at flights to book their surrogate to an appointment at their clinic because they don't live close, I'm not just willy-nilly buying a ticket. It's like, well, what's the best time? Can you leave at this time because it's cheaper? And then can you come back? I'm putting myself in their shoes, thinking, it's better to save money than to just spend it.
Always.
Yeah.
It's always better to keep it.
Yes.
Yes. And so typically, how many of these intended parents do you work with at once? Is it one all the way through? Do you have a pipeline of parents coming through?
So we facilitate about anywhere from 12 to 16 cases a year, knowing that you can start within 1 year and it still revolves into the other years. Because some people, an average time frame for a journey is about 15 months. But that's if everything goes smoothly. We've had a few cases where it took 3 to 4 years to get baby, and multiple surrogates, and that took a lot of patience for everybody to get. But we got there.
Okay.
So I say never give up. Right. But we always have intended parents waiting to be matched. We never don't. And they're always eager to start as soon as they can. So the match times is the biggest question that I'll get from intended parents, like, how long am I going to have to wait? Most agencies will tell you 6 months to a year to be matched. So, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen sooner, because if their wants and needs align best with a surrogate that I had coming through my screening process, and I think that they'd be well matched together. The soonest match I did was a couple months ago, and it was 4 days.
Holy smoke.
From like the call for the intended parents looking. I just had a surrogate who got through our screening process, who happens to be local to us, and the parents are not. But I went, oh my gosh, this would be like the best match ever. Like I feel like these people
came out on you.
Yeah, they need to be together, and they're so happy. And now they're in the process of a medical screening. That's where we're at with that. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a full line of intended parents.
Usually about 10 to 15 at any given time.
Wait. More waiting for the surrogacies to be able to match them.
Yes. There's always less surrogates available. Always. Demand is super high, especially in California, because in our state, the laws are so favorable globally that you have the extra competition of people coming from outside the United States looking to get a surrogate in California. And that's where most of our applicants come from. So
From outside.
no, our surrogate applicants are mostly in California. I don't know why, except sometimes surrogates think that they need to live in the same state as their agency. They don't. You just need a good communicator.
Right.
And someone you like. But yeah, so the competition's fierce outside the country. So I tell intended parents the more open they are with who they'll be matched with. Like if they are open to another surrogacy-friendly state, I might have somebody who is more available sooner.
You could just refer them over to somebody else, or you bring that surrogacy in work and still make it all happen.
Yes, I would still make it work. So we, for an example, we had a surrogate that applied to our program because she had a bad experience with an agency, a big agency, and she wasn't treated like it was personal. It was, she felt like a number. And so she applied to our program years ago, and she was amazing, loved her, and she told all of her friends and family, and she was in Wisconsin. So we've actually worked a lot in that state. So we've been out there for deliveries, and that's a great state to work with if you also live outside the United States, because it's a post-birth order state versus some states are pre-birth order. So it just depends if it's pre or post. It depends on when parentage occurs. So pre means you can get all the parentage paperwork done and the judgment ahead of the birth. So when you go to the hospital, there's like documentation. Post doesn't mean that you have less rights, because you still will have, you're providing information to the hospital. It's just for the legality. The reason that some countries outside of the United States want to work with post-birth order, like a couple I talked to today that's in France, is they need a post-birth order state in order to help with citizenship once they get back home.
Oh my.
Because once the baby's born in America, they're an American citizen.
Right.
And some other countries will recognize dual citizenship, some will not, some will allow it up until a certain age. That's something that then they take care of, and we put them in touch with the right attorneys to help them with that.
Yeah.
But there's all those pieces that they need to make sure work in their favor for getting baby home if they're
That is
a US citizen.
incredible.
Yeah.
And all of that is from the beginning when they first reach out to you, and these are all the moving parts and pieces.
We have to know where they're at, what their laws are, what they need when working in the United States, and that has to all factor into who they're matched with. So,
Holy smokes.
yeah.
This is beautiful and amazing. Amazing. So let's go back a little bit. You talked about the all-in compensation or expected cost to be 100 to 115,000, somewhere in that.
120 to about 150.
120 to 150. So what does the surrogate get from all of that, and how does that work?
Yes. So all surrogates who apply to our program and that are accepted sign our benefits package. And in that, we have a range for base compensation. Our base starts at $42,500 and it goes all the way up to $60,000. The reason there's a range is because it depends on her experience. And some people might ask, well, does she have experience? She already had babies.
Yeah, what's the
It's her surrogacy experience. So some people come to us and they have one shot. They have one embryo. Maybe it's not even the best quality. Maybe it is, but they have one shot. So they'll come to us and say, well, we want an experienced surrogate, because what that tells them is there's more reassurance on their end that she not only had her own children and did well, but she went through a surrogacy, had another full-term uncomplicated pregnancy. Her body responded to the medication protocol that the doctors prescribed her, so there's a reference of what worked for her. So that's success. She also got pregnant on the first transfer and didn't have to go through multiple transfers. That's something that's important as well. She got to the end. She handed the baby to the intended parents and just went without issue. And so for them, they're willing to pay more for that. We also, yeah, that's where we'll end with that. But in our benefits package, there's also other things like when she starts her medications, injectables, or the needles are about this big. They're super fun.
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
They start about a week prior to transfer, and they're intermuscular, so they're painful. And you do it every single day, one shot a day, until about the 10th to 12th week of pregnancy. and it's vital to be doing that. It's progesterone. But because of that, you're compensated. There's other fees that you get, like the transfer itself. You get a fee for that. If you choose to, and the parents want her to pump breast milk, there's compensation for that. It's a weekly basis for as long as they decide. There's also things in our benefits package that we hope never occur, like miscarriage, or the surrogate need to go through a DNC, or amniocentesis, or loss of organs as a result of a complication. That would be very rare, but because things happen, it's all outlined in our benefits package. And so she gets everything that happens to her throughout the process. And then if she comes back, say she's a first timer and she comes back to work with us again, then she gets compensated more each time with that experience. And we kind of let her dictate what that next range will be, which is why we have that range itself.
Gotcha. And is that part of the conversation that you're having with the attended pair ahead of time as well? Like,
yes,
this is the first time where
they always know that, because there's some people where money plays into their decision making, or that experience plays into it, and I let them know about the cost differences. I will also say that there's agencies out there that actually pay California surrogates more because of where they live and because they're so sought after. But that means the attended parents are also paying more because of where she lives. Being a surrogate myself, my rule of thumb is we pay the same no matter where the surrogate lives, because she's still putting herself through the same risk no matter where she lives.
Right.
There's no more risk with surrogacy than with any other pregnancy, but with pregnancy comes risk. So I just don't believe that because you live in an ideal state that you should be paid more.
I thought it was like the vitamin D. They got more vitamin D.
No, everybody's deficient, by the way, because they test for that. Everybody's deficient.
What about, sorry.
No, what else you got?
Yeah.
I can answer all day.
Like the background, does that come in play as far as the rate? You know, if someone has a better background up to, you know, like living, you know, the way they...
Like a healthy...
Not just healthy, but in a good environment and, you know, raised family, or I don't know.
I would say that if the...
I know.
I haven't had any Filipino. I am a Filipino. I was born there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now you guys go to surrogates?
Yeah. I was born on Clark Air Force Base.
Nice.
1980. Yeah. I always joked with Elvin. I'm like, I'm more Filipino than you. Because I was born there. So, yes. So I would say that if intended parents came to me and that factored into their decision making as to the background, the social background, the economic background of surrogate, I would kind of rule them as a bit high maintenance, and I would worry about them throughout the process. Most intended parents do not come at it from that. They want to make sure she has a good support system in place, which we do too. Like, so if she's single, that she has a village around her. She has that support system, because just because you're married doesn't mean that you do.
No.
But if they are married, you know, how is your husband going to help you in this process? And how old are your kids? If they're older versus they're all teeny tiny, that weighs into, you know, how busy are you? Are you stressed out all the time? So it's looked at all like full picture, and just gauging like how do they juggle it all? How do they make it work? But they don't really dive into, you know, everybody who applies to the program needs to be financially stable. That's actually a key, because we want to make sure that the women that are doing this are doing it because they want to, not because they have to.
Right.
And so that is one of our requirements, making sure they're not like on government assistance, or they're just, you know, hurting for money.
Periods of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't think of your surrogacy compensation to pay your rent.
Right.
You should be able to pay your rent and all your bills.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
This has to be, it's a heart thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be a heart thing to work
Yes.
out. Yeah. It's a good question, Larry.
Yeah, it was. There's no bad questions.
I have another.
Okay. What is it?
So, you know, it's the whole process is being emotional. Have you ever encountered someone or a surrogate that it was hard for her to let go when the baby came out?
No.
Okay.
We've never had any psychological problems where the surrogate wants to keep the baby. That is a fear that intended parents have. That's exactly why they do the psychological evaluation. to make sure that she's not the type of person that would have that issue. Believe me, at the end of a pregnancy of a normal-minded person, they are more than happy to like give that baby to its rightful owner and like rest and recover.
Yeah.
Like nobody's trying to hold on to, which is just another requirement or reason that we have the requirement too, that you have to have had at least one full-term uncomplicated pregnancy of your own with a child that resides with you. You have your own family. You're not trying to take somebody else.
No, I'm trying to create your family with somebody else.
No.
Yeah. Keeps the emotional attachment out of there as much as possible.
Yes, like you go into it with a mindset, I am just extreme babysitting.
Extreme babysitting.
That is it. I'm here to help a family that can't help themselves for whatever reason. Sometimes it's medical. It's a lot of times, about half our clients are same-sex men who are just appreciative of everybody helping in their own way, egg donors and gestational carriers. So, you know, they're just excited to be able to.
And if they're
Yeah.
they're local, are they there when the child's birth?
So everybody per their contract is supposed to be local. Nobody wants to miss the birth of their
Right.
child.
Right.
And I'm always like telling people, okay, the last month of a pregnancy, it goes week to week to week.
Yeah.
Like that doctor who does this every day
Right.
is checking things out, seeing where the surrogate is progressing, you know, and is giving a good guesstimate like, oh, I think this baby might come this week. I say, we listen to the professionals.
Yeah.
So if they do live a distance away, making sure you get on that plane and you are local in time. Don't wait till she's calling you in labor if you live, you know, halfway across the world, or even if you live, you know, maybe down in LA.
Right.
Just being there and making sure your schedule permits that too. So we've had 2 people miss though.
Really?
One didn't listen and the other one just came too fast.
No. Right. Sometimes they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they listen?
I just don't think they understood the severity. They actually had been our only, knock on wood, twin pregnancy.
Oh,
And,
bonus.
Yes, it was a single embryo that naturally split.
Okay.
It was our first case
Oh,
at
fantastic.
the parents lived in Singapore.
Okay.
So we're talking half the world away. And luckily their surrogate lives in Antioch, so she was close to us. And so I was able to be there for everything. She went
Right.
into labor early. They tried to keep the babies in with magnesium. I was at the hospital with her. I was there for the emergency C-section that she went through. But once she had been admitted to the hospital and they were keeping those babies in with magnesium, I told those parents they needed to get on a plane because they only had so much time.
Right.
And they didn't get on the plane right away. And then, so when the C-section happened, I knew a doctor and she talked me through everything and I got them in the phone and I was there when they landed and the babies were in the NICU, but they went home 6 months later, fat, healthy, happy little babies. And I have NICU experience as well, so I was able to tell them what that might be like when they walk in, because that can be another overwhelming feeling of, oh my gosh, I feel so helpless. My children are in the NICU. So,
That is.
Yeah.
It's a tough feeling when you're a parent.
yes.
You can't do anything.
No,
It's the worst. Yeah. I almost did miss one of my own births of my own children.
it can happen.
Yeah. My mom was in the room. She's like, "Psst, you want to wake up? Your baby's coming." And I was like, "What?" I woke up and I go, "No, here we go."
Okay.
Room full of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was action.
Well, I'm glad you actually made it.
I did.
Good.
I did. I was 3 for 3.
Special.
That's it.
Yeah. So I always tell people, like, please listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen to the doctor. Listen to the surrogate's body, and plan accordingly.
Fine. Yeah.
Don't miss it.
It's not a good idea.
It's what we've been working for.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta be there.
Right. This road we went on, that is not a straight line. We
Yeah.
get to this exciting moment.
The finish line. You've gotta be there. at the
All the
finish
hard
line.
work is for that moment. And then you forget about everything else that's happened.
Yeah.
And there you go. You have it. So awesome. Fantastic. We don't have to go there. It's just something that popped into my head.
Yeah, I haven't even decided on that. We have a good opportunity to bring somebody on that would be like the unicorn,
Okay.
but I was like,
It's hard.
well, because can we afford to bring them on? And what happens to the dynamic when you bring somebody on? Like, we were bosses in a previous life, and it's nice not having to manage anybody but yourselves. But then we'd also be able to take some vacations, like, without having to. Although, let's be real, I can't ever
Yeah.
not be involved. So, yeah, I'm still figuring that one out. I don't know.
That is interesting. That's part of being a business owner.
Yeah.
At the same time, right?
Well, especially this one. But
Yeah.
you gotta keep an
And there's other people that do, and I'm like, how do you do it, like, successfully? And we have a portal system set up that would make it flawless. It doesn't even matter where they live because it's all connected. We had it built for us, which keeps us all connected throughout the entire journey. Like, everything's there. But we have the tools, but I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to let go. And adding someone on for me is letting go.
It'd be an asset.
I know I need to think of that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, they're not me.
They're not you, but they're whatever you create in the world of the business, right?
Yeah.
Whatever boundaries you put on them or freedoms you give them. So you really designed that one too.
I know. It's working so well already.
If it's not broke.
Yeah, and we do fine for ourselves.
Right.
Financially, we're good. We also know that we, as an agency, there's some crazy agencies what they charge. Intended parents, we're also very fair. We're actually more on the lower end, but that's not what this is about for us.
Right.
It's about being able to support our family, but being able to mostly help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're good. I love it. I'm always like, this is my job.
Right. Every day you wake up, that's what I do.
When I couldn't be a surrogate anymore because I C-sectioned out.
Oh.
That's how so like, that was my question earlier too, of when I was a surrogate, of like, well, what if there's that uncontrollable emotional thing that comes with like these hormones if I push a baby out? I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I now know through this experience over the years that what I did was highly unusual, which is I scheduled C-sections.
Mm.
But little did I know, because I had been knowledge yet, that you can only have so many before now you're disqualified from clinics. So I had one with my own, then I had 2 more, and that was it. And I was really sad because I just would have kept going. I was young enough. I could still technically do it.
Yeah.
And Chris goes, oh, darn.
Yeah.
Now you can help in another way. So we started the business at the end of the second surrogacy, and then this is how I continued to help others. So 30 babies born since we started in 2017, and we've got 7 women pregnant that will give birth this year, but could be more. We have a couple of transfers coming up, so
That is fantastic.
yeah, might hit a few more at the very end of the year.
Yeah. It was funny. I was thinking your frequent flyer card like tapped out at the end. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I tally them.
Yeah.
I love it. And we have a revolving ticker or cap. What's that called on our website that like goes up to 30 and then counts back up. And I can't wait to keep adding more numbers.
yes.
Because those are just, what are those children going to do in the future? You know? I mean, maybe they'll just be happy individuals, and that was great too. But maybe they'll actually be people that help our earth and our society in a way.
Well, at least an advocate, right, is hello.
Exactly.
You know, that's a lot of hope. Putting
Yes.
good humans into the world is never a bad thing.
And these parents that bring these children in, these kids are loved.
Yeah.
These kids are so wanted, and there's been so much time, effort, money, emotion that has come about to help make them exist, that these kids usually thrive. So
Well, kids are super expensive anyway.
yeah,
So to start that
Hey,
far
they're
in
not
debt,
that way.
I'm like, man, you are loved. Your parents love you.
exactly.
Oh my goodness, fantastic. Why don't we do this way? Is there a way to give to either like a nonprofit that you have worked with, or to some way that we can end with like it in giving back into this world of surrogacy and joining these people together? Like, is there an agency that works out there, a nonprofit, or a way to reach out to kind of help in some way for people that obviously can't carry or whatever are involved in the process?
Mm-hmm.
There's something like that we could then maybe end with that. And then obviously kind of, if you want to, I don't know if you want to put your information out there for people to be like, hey, if you want more information, let's reach out to me. I don't know if you want to do that. That might be.
I mean, they can always find us. My cell phone is on our website.
Is your 916 number?
Yeah, we were from SAC before we moved out here, and I never changed it.
Yeah, that's heck of fun.
I get some numbers.
Just I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions like, can I call her or get a hold of her? You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's a contact button on our website, and it goes directly to me, but without my actual personal email address. I get all those things.
Yeah.
That is the easiest way to.
Okay.
Or maybe your website have a lot of information.
I was on it earlier.
Yeah, just put.
I was on the
Put out
website earlier, and it talks about the journey. That's why I found out she was a 2-time.
Yeah.
Maybe we end with that, with the website.
Yeah, just the website. You don't have.
And it's not www, it's the HTTPS because it's like a secure one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I have to?
Don't, no, nobody says that.
You just say the name and .com.
Partnership.com.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It automatically.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I had to learn that the hard way, see, because Chris is our tech guy too.
Yeah.
I was like, why isn't this working? He goes, that's not the address. I was like, okay, thank you. I keep him around for,
Yeah.
tech support.
Maybe instead of a way to give back, maybe educational. That people want more or want to become.
Yeah,
like,
I love educating. Because sometimes Chris will be like, they're not even ready to go forward. Like, why would you spend so much time? And I go, because when you love what you do, you want to educate people. And I'll give referrals of like, oh, you're at this part of the process, so you need names of clinics. And we get nothing for referring these people. Like, there's no kickback.
Right.
It's more like, we've worked with these people. They're all great people. See what's the best fit for you and your price budget. Lawyers as well. The good thing about lawyers in our industry is it's not hourly. There's a package deal.
Very nice.
And so, because they're usually but you use them twice during the process. The beginning to construct your gestational carrier agreement, which is the contract between you and your surrogate. And then later on when they're doing all the legal paperwork for parentage later on.
Like the transfer.
Transfer is in the middle
Okay.
of both us. Okay.
So, Jessica, people have questions or want maybe some education on this whole amazing process and what it looks like. Give us some places to go, some resources we can use, and maybe kind of your website if they want some more information about it.
Yeah, so I will say that our website, surrogacypartnership.com, is a great resource if you're interested in becoming a surrogate or you want more information as an intended parent about the process and how to begin. I would also reach out to, as an example, like San Diego Fertility Center. They have a lot of useful information and you'll probably get good pricing and just kind of walk you through the steps on the clinic side of things, which is a fundamental part of this process. And then if you're a same-sex couple and you're like, how am I ever going to be able to afford this? I would look towards men having babies because they offer grants and they have conferences all over the world. They come to the Bay Area in March every year. I've gone to it plenty of times. It's a 2-day conference. It's amazing. It kind of runs you through like Surrogacy 101.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you're not a same-sex couple, it's a great local conference to be able to go to just gather information. And then also there's people there to put you in touch with to how to make the process work, whether it's agencies or escrow, or if you need an egg donor or sperm donor or anything, it's all in one place. So, and you can contact me through the website. There's a contact icon, and I'm happy to answer any and all questions. I love this.
I can tell. I am so happy that you joined us. I'm so happy you came in.
It was my pleasure.
To sit down and talk with us. I learned a lot. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for checking out Local Legacy with Jessica Busman, surrogacypartnership.com if you guys want some more information on it. Tons of information out there to help you, resources. It was a great time, lots of information, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.